Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to highlight two awesome games that you can play free this weekend on Steam. Two of the best free weekends in recent memory. Should have really made this video yesterday because you can only play these games over the course of the weekend. So they went live yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't get around to mentioning them, but want to give you guys a heads up on them so you can enjoy the entire weekend in playing these games. And if you do want to pick them up, they are both available at a steep discount as well. So both of those games are XCOM 2 and City Skylines. Games I've talked very highly about. Also, we had the announcement of one of the more surprising games. I was not seeing this one coming. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been announced. This is a sequel to an RPG released all the way back in 2004. That game was received really well back then. 16 years later in 2020, it is getting a sequel, so I did want to highlight that game. It is listed on Steam right now. Steam is promoting the hell out of it. GOG has it listed as well, so let's just hope they stay on those platforms. You guys know what I'm talking about there. And lastly, we've got some very interesting information on Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red working on another RPG, a AAA RPG at that, and both those games are said to be out by 2021. I do want to speculate as what that could mean for Cyberpunk 2077. Of course, that game is scheduled to be at E3 this year, so a lot to cover there. So we'll talk Cyberpunk at the end of this video. I know a lot of you guys just want to hear about the free games. XCOM 2 is free for the weekend. This is an awesome free game offering. Unfortunately, it is only the base game. You don't have War of the Chosen here, and War of the Chosen does make it a substantially better game, but to play XCOM 2 free for a weekend, you can get a lot out of the experience. However, this is a pretty expansive game, so if you want the entirety of the XCOM 2 experience, that's probably not going to be had in an entire weekend, but you can get a taste of what the game has to offer. Also, just with any other free weekend, it is seeing a very, very steep discount. XCOM 2 is 75% off, down to $14.99. The digital deluxe edition is $24.74. Ideally, you would like to get the XCOM 2 collection, but that is still at such a hefty price. 70% off, but it's $39.97. That includes the base XCOM 2 game, the Resistance Warrior Pack, XCOM 2 Reinforcement Pack, XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, and then the War of the Chosen Tactical Legacy Pack as well. So it has everything to get going, and that'll give you the definitive XCOM 2 experience, but man, $40 for that is quite expensive, and I do believe we've seen the XCOM 2 collection for a little bit cheaper, so probably wouldn't get the collection. However, try out the game free for the weekend. You'll probably really enjoy it, and if you do want a cheaper alternative, GOG, as a part of their spring sale, does have XCOM Enemy Unknown, the complete edition, for $9.99, so you can check that out instead, and that was a very compelling game as well. That's the game that really got me into XCOM, so that deserves a shout as well. Also, City Skylines is seeing a free weekend. City Skylines isn't my cup of tea, however, I did play a little bit of it, and I can definitely understand why gamers are all over this game, especially with how much of a train wreck SimCity was. If you want a city building simulation title, this one is a good one. City Skylines is also seeing a steep discount, 75% off for $7.49. The deluxe edition is $9.99. There's a collection that is 55% off, but it is $76. There's so much DLC for the game, but that does include 17 items in total. But still, $76? Alright, that's a little expensive, and there is a new player bundle as well for $19.32. Now, this is a game that I can't speak much about, but I have a lot of friends that are super into this game, and it's a pretty lengthy experience in terms of longevity. There's a lot to do with the game. You have Steam Workshop in here, so there's a lot of mods, and the game's been received very, very well. Try it out free for the weekend, and if you do like it, you can buy it 75% off, $7.49, and again, we went through all of the other editions that are available. Next up, I definitely wanted to give you guys a heads up on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 being announced for PC for March 2020. The game is listed on Steam. Steam is promoting the hell out of it. I would like to think at this point that Valve has figured out that if they're going to promote the hell out of a game, that they're not going to end up being backstabbed. But this is the kind of game, an ambitious sequel of a game that came out so long ago that you would want that inherent peace of mind from what an Epic Game Store could offer. And when I saw this game, I was like, man, that is exactly the type of game that I would expect Epic to go after. But it's listed on Steam right now. Literally, when I opened up Steam, it was the first thing I saw right under Sekiro Shadows Die Twice being promoted. I had Vampire the Masquerade pre-purchase now, listed for March 2020. Fingers crossed that this game remains on Steam. I just don't know what to think anymore, but hopefully Valve and Steam got that patent down, and now they have agreements with developers if they are going to promote the hell out of a game like this. Let's just keep the releases in line, and the game is also listed on GOG, so if you want it over there, you can pick it up there. If Epic Game Store wants to sell the game, by all means, sell the game, but let it be available on other platforms too. But let's talk about the game itself. Again, a very surprising announcement. I never played Vampire the Masquerade, but that was an RPG released all the way back in 2004. It is available on Steam, so you can play it, and I believe it goes for $19.99, but you should wait for a sale. I believe it's gone as low as $5, and it's been received very, very well on Steam. Now, it is a very dated game. However, if you look at the all-time Steam reviews, 94% positive based on 5,640 reviews. It's a cult classic. If you do want to play the first game, just note that you are going to have to do some mods and whatnot to get it running on a modern PC. But to see a sequel for the game, and to see a sequel as ambitious as Bloodlines 2, man, that's awesome. Now, the game is going to be released in March of 2020. A couple of bummers. This is to be expected in gaming because so many games are doing it, but there are a multitude of editions available. There's the base game for $60, then there is the unsanctioned edition for $70, and then we have the Blood Moon edition for $90. Now, the Blood Moon edition, that's the highest end edition. That includes a season pass and the unsanctioned Blood Pack. The Blood Pack is included in the unsanctioned edition. None of those aforementioned items will be available in the standard edition, but most notably, the deluxe edition and the premium edition also gives you 24 hours of early access to the game. Man, I hate that, but I know a lot of games are going that route. The Division 2 offered 3 days of early access. I believe a lot of the 2K sports titles offer you early access if you buy the special edition. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was another game that offered you early access. Now you're just locking the game away and incentivizing people to pay more money to play the game a little bit early. Can you even say it's a little bit early? The floodgates are opened at this point. What you're really doing is just pushing the standard edition back a little bit. I don't want to say that these special editions, you're getting them early. That's how they're gonna market it and advertise it to you. What it really is they're pushing the standard edition back a little bit, and they're making you, if you want to pay just $60, you gotta wait an extra 24 hours, pick up the $70 or $90 version, and then you can play the game when it's supposed to be out. As cool as this game looks, I have to call out BS when I see it, and I know a lot of other games are doing it. That doesn't make it any more right. However, we should talk a little bit about the game itself. Here's the description from the Steam page. Started in an act of vampire terrorism, your existence ignites the war for Seattle's blood trade. Enter uneasy alliances with the creatures who control the city and uncover the sprawling conspiracy which plunged Seattle into a bloody civil war between powerful vampire factions. Visually, the game looks great, and I dig the 1850s setting. I think this game has a lot of potential. Yes, I'm not completely sold on it, just on the basis it's a sequel of a game that'll be 16 years old by the time this one's out. I'm not a fan of the special editions getting early access, or rather, should I say, the standard edition getting late access, but the game itself does look quite good, and I will definitely be keeping it on my radar. Now, it is scheduled for Q1 2020. They have March listed on the Steam store. However, with a release window this far away, I could see the game being delayed until, say, late 2020. And this is a game, if you're bringing a franchise back from the depths of hell, seemingly that's what Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines was at, they want to deliver a quality product, so take as long as you need. And lastly, I do want to quickly go over some very interesting information about CD Projekt Red. Of course, they're working on Cyberpunk 2077 right now, but in fact, they are actually working on another AAA RPG, and both that game and Cyberpunk 2077 will be out by 2021. Specifically, over on the CD Projekt Red forums, moderator Donata Poposka, sorry if I butchered that name, said this, quote, as far as the strategy of the CD Projekt Capital Group for 2016 to 2021 is concerned, its plan to release the second AAA game by 2021 remains unchanged. We are currently focusing on the production and promotion of Cyberpunk, so we do not want to comment on further projects. Now, this is very surprising to me because I think most of us think that Cyberpunk 2077 is not going to be released until 2020. So with them having another game in development that's scheduled for a release before the end of 2021, would CDPR really be a studio that releases Cyberpunk in 2020 and then follows it up with another major AAA RPG just a year later? That's very uncharacteristic of CD Projekt Red, which now that leads me to think maybe Cyberpunk 2077 is actually being released in the fall of this year, and let me explain why. Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna have a big presence at E3 of this year. That's its next major showcase. However, let me offer you this. Do we really need to see more of Cyberpunk 2077 to drum up more interest in the game? Honestly, I think if we just see gameplay of the game, more gameplay that is, I think that does absolutely nothing for the game in terms of an anticipation standpoint. Now, if we see gameplay parlayed with the announcement of this game being released in fall of 2019, yeah, at that point, Cyberpunk 2077 just encapsulates the entirety of E3, and I think that becomes the talking point coming out of E3. So if that's what CDPR is planning, man, I think this game could be coming out at the end of 2019, because again, it just does not make a lot of sense for Cyberpunk to come out sometime in 2020 and then just a year later be followed up by another AAA CDPR title. Just based on knowing how CD Projekt Red does things, again, that's just super uncharacteristic. And while I still am led to believe that Cyberpunk 2077 will probably be a 2020 game, given the fact that 2020 will probably also mark the release of the next generation consoles, and Cyberpunk 2077 is still being promoted as a PS4, Xbox One, and PC title, that's another point of evidence that could lead you to think that this game will be out in 2019. Just something to note, but probably even more interesting is the fact that CDPR does have another AAA RPG in development and we know nothing about it. Could that be another Witcher game? I know they closed the book on The Witcher for now, but it could be something else within that universe. Of course, Witcher is a massive IP, and for CDPR to just let that go from a financial standpoint, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, and there's a lot of exploration that could be done into the universe of The Witcher, even if it's not directly related to the story of Geralt of Rivia. There's a lot you can do within the universe of Witcher, and if you announce some Witcher spin-off series, I think gamers would be all over that too. So a lot to digest there, even though the statement says CDPR is releasing 2 AAA RPGs by 2021, one of them being Cyberpunk. There's actually a lot more to that statement than meets the eye. And that's gonna conclude this video, guys. Again, play XCOM 2 and City Skyline free on PC on Steam this weekend. Enjoy discounts on both games as well if you do want to end up picking them up. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been announced. That'll be coming March 2020. Hopefully it remains a game that'll be available on every platform, but as far as titles I could see becoming an Epic Store exclusive, man, this one makes as much sense as any, and Cyberpunk 2077 and another unannounced CD Projekt Red AAA RPG will be out by 2021. Again, a lot to digest with that statement. That's gonna conclude this video. If you guys have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.